Hey everybody, Jenny Mills here, your health sciences and nursing librarian. This is the second video in our series on nursing research. And in this video, we're going to talk about search strategies, especially how you would search CINAHL and Medline, which are going to be the main two databases that you use to find articles. We'll talk about when to use keywords that you come up with on your own, and when to use subject headings that you find in the database, how to filter your results, how to organize your results, and also how to get the full text of articles. So we're going to start at the library's homepage again, belmont.edu/library. So I'm going to go ahead and go there now. And I'm going to go to the research guides and scroll down to find nursing. And from here, you can see all of the main databases that you're going to use on this first page. So you're going to spend most of your time in CINAHL. That's your go-to database for nursing journals. You might also search in Medline. It's more of a medical focus rather than nursing and allied health. And then you'll likely search in some other databases as well, but this is probably the best place to start and where you'll spend most of your time. So I'm going to open that. And this is what the search interface looks like. So let me talk a little bit about search strategies before I jump in there. Here is our sample PICO type question today that we're going to use. In school-aged children, how does sleep hygiene affect school performance? So you would not type in this complete question as it is written here. You want to pull out the main concepts or the main keywords. So in this case, it would be, you could start with school-aged children, sleep hygiene, and school performance. I entered that into CINAHL and I got one article back. So there are definitely more articles than that, but this is very typical of how a search might start. So you just type in what you know and then you modify from there. So we definitely need to use some different terminology. And this is the hard part about searching, although the database will help you, but you have to be persistent and a little bit patient and try a lot of different things. So after searching around for a little bit, I found some other search terms that worked out pretty well. For school-aged children, instead, you could use children or just child, or adolescents if you wanted that particular age group. For sleep hygiene, you could simplify it and just use sleep. Or you could search for things like bedtime routines or screen time that are going to impact children's sleep. So not exactly synonyms, but related terms in that way. For school performance, some other terms you could use: school achievement, outcomes, academic achievement is a subject heading that you'll see a lot. So what you want to do is create a running list of search terms that you can use. I always like to write them down because you're probably going to come back to this search multiple times, and so you have your running list of keywords so you can remember what you've tried and what works well. So if I go back to the database, let's try some of those. So we started with sleep hygiene and let's see, school-aged children, and let's see, what was the other one? School performance. All right, so that's a search that gave me this one result. But even this one result, it can be helpful. I see sleep evaluation. I see habits. There's sleep hygiene as I typed it in. I see child. So every article is going to have subjects that describe what the article is about. These are like tags that describe the article. These can also be search terms. So this will give you clues as to what better terminology to use. So I'm going to start by simplifying this very specific phrase, school-aged children. And I see child over here, so I'm just going to put in child. I'm just going to change that one to start. Okay, so now we have 6. So now I can look through these 6, and I'm still, of course you can look for the titles of the articles at this point, but I'm really looking at how to expand my search results at the beginning here. So I see things like sleep standards, screen time, and you might start jotting some of these down. Video games. Here is academic achievement. which might be good instead of school performance. So use these as clues. This time I'm going to change, well, I'm going to leave school performance, but if you type out or next to it, it will actually suggest things for you. So I wanted to add academic achievement, but you see the second suggestion here, school performance or school achievement or school outcomes or academic achievement. So if I select that, it will give me articles with any of those terms. So I should get a lot more than 6. Let's see how that works. Okay, I got 9. So let's see, a little bit better, but not a whole lot. So let's work on sleep hygiene now. So I see sleep standards here again, sleep evaluation. If I scroll through, sleep disorders, all kinds of things. You could just simplify it and put in sleep. And now I get a whole lot more, 146. Now if sleep seems like it's too broad, you want to do something like sleep hygiene or, again, it will suggest, it does suggest sleep just by itself or sleep quality. I'll go ahead and select that. And it's got the same number. But this is a good set of results to work with. So pay close attention to the subjects underneath each article. This is how I'm able to help people search on all different kinds of topics that I don't know that much about, because I always let the database help me come up with the search terms. Very, very important. Okay, so from here, what I would do is, before you start looking through this, maybe use some filters to narrow this down. So let's say you just want articles from the last 5 years. Go ahead and put that in there. Okay, I just want academic journals, peer-reviewed journals. Okay, so now I have some limiters. There are more over here, and so this article, for example, I cannot read that, so you might want to limit to English, because you will see articles in other languages in some in these databases. So now that I have my limiters, I can start looking through a couple of pages of results. So of course, look at the title. The subjects will give you a pretty good idea of what the article's about. Hover over this little piece of paper, and then hopefully you'll get an abstract. So this is very important. Read the abstract. You know, right here it tells you this study aimed to investigate the relationship between, and so on and so on. They used a questionnaire. So if that looks like something that you might be interested in, just add it to your folder and then keep looking through your results. So in this way, you can scroll through several pages of results pretty quickly. And, you know, like I said, I would look through a couple of pages until they start looking less and less relevant. And as you're looking, you know, pay attention to what other search terms that you can go back and use on a future search. The folders are very, very useful, because you can just put things in your folder, even if it's a maybe, and then keep working on your search. And then when you feel like you're ready to complete your search and download PDFs, you can go up to your folder and everything will be there for you. Now at this point, I have not yet signed in. So if I close this browser, everything in my folder is lost. So I would recommend that you get into the habit of signing in as soon as you get into CINAHL. I already have a username and password. You can sign in with Google. That's probably the easiest thing to do, or just create an account. This is an EBSCO account. A lot of our databases are on this platform called EBSCO. So this is not your MyBelmont username and password. You do have to set this up. But once you have an account, you can sign into your EBSCO folder. And I see my name up here, so I know that I'm signed in. And then these things are saved to your folder permanently. My folder has a lot of articles in it from other searches that I've done, and I also have a lot of custom folders over here on the left from years and years of saving articles. Some of these custom folders I've even shared with other people. You'll be working in EBSCO databases a lot, in CINAHL and Medline, So I would recommend go ahead and get used to using these folders. Let me go back to the search results. Okay. All right, so another thing that you could do, especially for a topic like this, is to search in other databases in addition to CINAHL. And so if you click on Choose Databases at the very top, you'll see all the other databases that we get from EBSCO. Not all that we have, but that are on the same platform, so that they're cross-searchable. And Medline is an EBSCO database as well. So you can search Medline and CINAHL together. For this topic, you could also search our education journals, maybe psychology journals, if that was interesting to you, and then you could search all of those together. So now I'm going to rerun the search, and I got a lot more results just by adding those additional databases. Keep in mind when you do add additional databases, the terminology could be different in different databases. Academic achievement may or may not be the preferred terminology in Medline. They could differ a little bit. So do keep that in mind. Your filters or your limiters also will be a little different. Some of them will always be the same, like the date and the ones that are pulled out here. But if you go under the date and you click Show More, you can see all the filters that are available. So some of them are common to all EBSCO databases, like the date. So let me go ahead and do 5 years again. I can go ahead and say I want peer-reviewed journals. I can go ahead and select English, and that will apply to all the databases we selected. Then, if you want to filter even more, you have to select filters for each database that you have. So for CINAHL, there are certain filters. So if you want any author to be a nurse, you could select that. If you want to look at by age group, you can select that in CINAHL. If you just wanted to look at systematic reviews, you could scroll through and find that in document type. That may not be one in CINAHL. There are also special limiters for Medline that are a little different. So if you're going to use any of these special limiters and you're searching multiple databases, you'll have to apply limiters for each database. Go ahead and hit search, and you can see over here it applied the date, peer review, and English to my results. So from here I can continue looking through results, looking at the abstract, putting it in the folder if that looks good to you, and then you can click on the title to view the full record if you would rather view it that way, and then go back to your result list, and then continue working on your search and trying different terms. And then when you're finished, now you're ready to go up to your folder and download PDFs or look for full text. And as I said, I have a lot of other things in my folder that are not on this topic, but we'll use them as examples. So this one, the PDF is right there. So that's all you need. That is the full text of the article, and then you can download it. Okay, let me go back to my folder list. So a lot of these have the full text, the PDF right there. This one, there's no PDF. So you'll have to click Find Full Text at BU to see if we have this article in some other database. So it's searching OneSearch for you, which we talked about in the previous video. It found the full text for this article in a couple of different databases. It's actually freely available on the web in these free databases. So just follow those links, and then you'll be able to download the PDF from there. Sometimes you will find that find one that says no full text is available, and the next link will be a link to Interlibrary Loan, and just go ahead and click on that, and then you can request the article through Interlibrary Loan. Let me try one more. Okay. Okay, so here is one where there is no full text available. We don't have this article in any database, but we can get it for you. So if you go to Interlibrary Loan and log into our ILLiad system, So this is our interlibrary loan system, and if you haven't used this before, you have to create a username and password. But once you do, and you log into our Iliad system, the form will be filled out for you. Just submit the request, and we will get the article for you. So Interlibrary Loan is going to be a service that you use. There's a link on the library homepage to Interlibrary Loan. There is also a link over here back to the nursing guide to Interlibrary Loan. So if you'd like to go ahead and set up your Iliad account, create that username and password, you can do that so that you'll be ready to use this. Just consider this a part of the library services. We used to have many more journal subscriptions than we do now. Now we purchase articles on demand, the articles that you actually need, sometimes directly from the publisher. So if you request something, it's very likely that we'll get it to you within 24 hours, and we'll just email you the PDF. So request what you need, and don't hesitate to request articles. It's just part of our service. Also, for that reason, don't ever limit to full text when you're in the database. So there is a full text limiter here. You don't want to select that because you might miss out on some great articles that we might have in another database, first of all, or that we could get for you through Interlibrary Loan. So that is the basics of searching in CINAHL. Medline works the same way, and some of our other databases, the interface will look a little different, but the same the concepts still apply in those databases. So just remember, if you have questions, especially with searching, because that's where I can really help you, because this is the hard part, to email me or make an appointment with me, and we can meet online. I can share my screen with you, and we can go over some search strategies together.